Hi everyone. So today is Saturday and it is planting weekend. It's time to get all the flowers in the garden and set us up for a lot of color this summer in the garden. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button because I'll do some videos along the summer or throughout the summer so that you can see how these flowers progress through the summer and the color that I get in the garden. So we'll start off with what we're going to plant. If you saw my video on propagating cannas or cannas, they're all grown now. Yeah, they look good. They're ready to go in the garden. I have so many of them, I'll be giving some away. I have some down here. If you remember from that video, there were 3 trays here. Now this area here along the house is for tomato plants. I may plant some flowers in there, in between them or around them. And I'll take you up on the deck. Here's my greenhouse where I moved all of my seedlings out to after I transplanted them. This area here needs to be weeded, but we'll weed this as I plant. And up on the deck are all the seedlings. I grew all these from seed myself. Started back at the end of February. And I keep it simple, very simple. Basically have 2 different kind of flowers that'll go out in the garden, which will be added to some perennials that I already have planted out there that come back every year. But I've got marigolds, and we have zinnias, and marigolds and zinnias. These are Inca 2 marigolds, and these are Procacia zinnias, and both of these will grow to like 16 inches high, maybe 12, 15 inches wide, and they're just loaded with flowers once they grow, all summer long. Over here, I got my tomato plants. They're gonna go in the ground this weekend. Here's some more marigolds, some marigolds here. There's some geraniums, which will go in some pots where we put around the door or on the porch. And in here are all of my trailing vinca. And the trailing vinca go into some areas along the fence where I have boxes so that they trail down, and all the way down the fence. It'll be nothing but color as the summer moves on. So I'll show you the garden areas that I'm going to plant. Right down here at the bottom of the steps, these will just be probably geraniums, or I'm sorry, not geraniums, marigolds, and the zinnias will go here. Up here where the dog pen is, this is the dog's area. We always put a row of marigolds, and they do really good here. That will all be flowers come the end of June or July. And these raised garden beds, I am going to plant the cannas. I'll put a row of cannas. The green cannas will get 5 to 6 feet high, and they make for nice privacy. All in here, we'll just mix some marigolds and zinnias. Like I said, I'm going to weed as I plant. Some decorative grass here. And this plant here, I grew these from seed last year. These are Rudbeckia, and they're Indian Summer. And apparently they're a perennial because they're coming back. They're going to get yellow flowers on them. They get a yellow flower with a brown center. They look really nice when they're blooming. Just kind of surprised me. I thought they were seeds that were annuals, but they're not. They're perennials. So I'll get them every year now. Pool's nice and clean. The water's ice cold. So I have these boxes here, the red boxes that I built a couple of years ago out of 2x3s. Real simple. We put cannas in them. We put the reddish, brownish canna in those. Also same thing with this long box here. All down this area here, we'll get some marigolds and some zinnias. And this is a weedy mess. It's going to take some time to clear out, but this, I'm not sure whether I'm going to do marigolds or zinnias in here. I've always done marigolds. Maybe I'll do both. And these boxes along the fence, this is where the trailing vinca will be planted. And the trailing vinca will just come down along the fence. It'll just be a whole row of flowers all the way down the fence. And then on top of that, these crepe myrtles will bloom all summer long. So you see, I'm gonna have lots of color back here, which is why you're gonna want to subscribe so that you can see all the color come, the end of June, July, August, all the way into September. This area here, marigolds, most likely marigolds. If marigolds grow really well here, I'll mix some zinnias in also maybe. I'm not gonna put too many in here. I have plans to rebuild this deck in a few weeks. Across the front, I really got hit with a lot of weeds this year. So we're gonna get started, and I'm gonna start with the raised garden beds and just put my row of green cannas in here. They have a red flower. They're gonna go higher than the fence. It'll make for a nice natural privacy fence. So we get started, and I'll bring it back as I move along. All right, so the planting is all finished. I'll take you for a walk around, and I'll show you everything that I planted out in the garden. Start out front, and the hanging baskets have petunias, and the petunias I started from seed. Yeah, they're hard to grow. I only ended up with 4 plants, which is unusual, but that's all right. We hung them in the hanging baskets, and here there's a couple marigolds. And then coming up to the front, I have all my pots, kind of like a welcoming flower bed to the front steps going in the front door. And they are the cannas planted in these, along with the trailing vinca. And over here are geraniums. They're going to be a red flower. Same thing with the pot up there under the mailbox. That is a geranium. And then in the front, where I replaced the ugly hedge with the green spire euonymus, the first row off of the new hedge are the marigolds, and then everything in the front are zinnias. This will just be all flowers once it blooms. I'll come around the side here. This is an elephant leaf plant, and we got another geranium in a pot. Down here, there's some lilies that are growing. They come back every year. I planted some marigolds along the side here, and that tall plant there are Shasta daisies. They're going to be opening pretty shortly. And just the decorative grasses. And down, we'll go inside the yard where a lot of the planting took place. But down here is just a row of marigolds. When these fill in, this will be all color. And there's Maggie. And here's some of my extra plants. I really did well with the trailing vinca. I still have a lot of extra, which I'll probably just give away. Extra tomato plants. No one wants them, so they'll go in the compost bin. So off the steps of the deck, in the back there are the green canna, and that'll act as a kind of like a privacy hedge once that all grows in. Then in the front is just a mix. I did have those 2 extra green spire euonymus hedge bushes, so I planted them here. I can always move them if I don't really want them there after they grow, but I needed a spot to put them, so that's where they ended up going. And here we just have some zinnias. mixed around. And again, these were all grown from seed. I grew these from seed in the winter. And then in the front we have the trailing vinca. And down here in my raised boxes, which I used to grow vegetables in, but I stopped growing so many vegetables. This is what gets frustrating. The squirrels would eat everything. So again, in the back row, which will create a privacy hedge, is the green canna. And in the center, I had some dahlia. What they are, I don't really know. I can only tell you that they're dahlia. I lost track of the type of dahlia they are, but all the way down in the center are different dahlia plants. So, and then in the front, I just did every other plant. One's a marigold, and then zinnia, marigold zinnia, all the way down the row. So we'll have different variety of flowers showing in the front. And it's basically planted so that it's like a step. The back hedge, which are the cannas, they should get to be about 5-6 feet. The dahlias will get to be about 3-4 feet. And the zinnia and marigold should get roughly around 16 inches high. And that'll all just fill in. Now down here I have the red leaf canna, and I'm trying to propagate more rhizomes or bulbs. So this is a good spot to do that. So I wasn't particular with how I planted them. I'm basically just trying to grow to get more for next year. And same thing here in this little garden bed. The hedge of the canna runs all the way down the fence. And this will should be just a green hedge here of canna. And then mixed and matched in here are the zinnias and the marigolds. Basically put the zinnias in the back, in the middle, and then the marigolds are in the front. And Maggie likes to chew on them. Same thing here. Just a mix and match, marigolds and zinnia. Here's the white Shasta daisies. They're all budded out, ready to go. They'll be blooming in a few weeks probably. And then again here underneath the crepe myrtle is just a mix of marigolds and zinnia. Marigolds and zinnia in here. And that yellow flower there is Rudbeckia. It's called Indian Summer. And I started these from seed a year ago, planted them, and it turns out they're perennials. So they came back on their own. And this is just a decorative grass. Nothing special about it. It's just there to fill that area. And the crepe myrtles, when these bloom, they put on a show. And they're beautiful when they bloom. And they'll bloom from the end of June all the way through September. So we have the two larger ones here. And these are like a pinkish flower. And then the two smaller ones, these are purple. And they were given to me by my next door neighbor. These were tiny when I planted them about 3 years ago. But they should, within a few more years, get this big. And it'll look nice. There'll be 4 of them down this side. And I haven't done much trimming on them because I'm trying to get them to grow out. And then maybe the end of this year or the end of next year, I'll start to snip them so that they look like the fully matured crepe myrtles. So down along the pool, these are the cannas in the wooden boxes, and then planted around them or the trailing vinca. And once they get mature, they should be dropping down and grow kind of down the side of the planter box. And then all these other little planter pots, they'll get moved around eventually. I kind of just put them here so that they're easy to water, and eventually they'll find a spot somewhere out here, maybe around the pool or up on the deck. And here around the pool in these pots are the elephant leaf plants. And again, they're not in a permanent spot at this time. They'll get moved around. And then I have three planters with the reddish brown canna, and then there's another elephant leaf, and they'll get placed around the pool here. It's still early June, so no one's really been in the pool. My grass back here needs to be cut. There's one area. I haven't cut it in about a week and a half. But this is what complements a green lawn, in my opinion. The landscaping, and when you got to add color, and all these flowers will do that. They'll add color. It's another wooden box, another planter box with the canna in them, and then planted along the edges are the trailing vinca. And the boxes along the fence, they have the trailing vinca in them. They're doing well. The last couple boxes need to be replaced, which I have the lumber to do that. I just haven't got to it yet. And then coming down here, these are crepe myrtle bushes. They're going to bloom soon. You can see the buds on them. There's one bloom there. They're purple. And then in the front is just the zinnias and the marigolds. Marigolds are in the front, the zinnias are in the back. A couple of the marigolds have already started to bloom. Right here underneath this crepe myrtle, which is another pink crepe myrtle. And that is marigolds and zinnias in the rear. And then coming up this area, I just planted all marigolds. So this will all be yellow, orange, gold flowers in this area here. And these are two crepe myrtles. So yeah, on this side of my garden area, I have 3 crepe myrtles. And when they are in bloom, like I said, they are really pretty. They are the perfect summer tree for a backyard landscape. And right here is just a mix of the marigolds and zinnias again. I keep it simple, marigolds and zinnias. They're easy to grow, they flower like crazy, and they give a lot of color in the garden. And here's some more of the Indian summer rudbeckia, which these are going to come back every year with them being perennials. And then along the deck here, I usually fill this whole garden with zinnias or with the marigolds, but I'm about to start rebuilding this deck, and I needed to leave myself room to work in here, so basically just did 1 row just so I would have some flowers in this part of the garden. So these are all zinnias, and coming down here, these are all zinnias. And that is a purple crepe myrtle bush, similar to the ones that are up by the pool area. This is a smaller one. Yeah, then we'll start to leave the yard, and up here I just did a row of marigolds. Just have one with a little bloom on it. That little pot there has a trailing vinca. And I usually fill this whole area with either zinnia or marigolds, but again, I didn't do it because I'm about to start some work on replacing this deck. And then winding this this video up here, we'll come up the side, and I just throw in some marigolds and zinnias, different areas. There's a dahlia, there's some zinnias, my tomato plants are here, and in front of the tomato plants I always put marigolds. They seem to keep the bugs away from the tomato plants. So up here along the driveway, I planted a lot of zinnias in here, so this should get all flowers. This garden is mostly on my neighbor's side, but this part here is on my side. So there's the zinnias planted there. So I get some flowers along the side of the driveway. So that is kind of it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button for me. Hit that like button. In a few weeks, I'll come back when everything is blooming and show you the massive color that I get in the garden to make the landscaping just pop with color. So I'll see you in the next one.